Yo, what's up guys? So today's video we're gonna learn how to make a pre-market plan. So the first thing I do is I look at the calendar. So today's Thursday, let's say for tomorrow. So tomorrow market open, we're looking at 9:45 and 10 o'clock. These can affect the market, so you need to watch out if you're in a trade 9:40, 9:55 around there. You have to be careful because these will move the market. You don't want to be in a trade at that time. If you are, better be careful. And then another thing is earnings. You want to see if any of your stocks have earnings. Let's say it's Tuesday and you're trading Tesla, and Tesla has earnings on Wednesday. The options aren't going to move that clean. So if you're going to trade Tesla day before earnings or 2 days before earnings, something like that, keep that in mind. You might not get the best return because options are going to be inflated in price because of that. So, yeah, first thing I do is I look at the calendar. Anything important, keep note. If the Fed is ever talking, they usually do it on Wednesday, so that day is usually choppy. So be careful trading on those days, or if there's any big news coming out, be careful trading before that because it might be choppy. So the next thing, come to the charts. Boom. So the first thing I do is I have NQ and ES. I usually do it on the 4 hour. You can do the daily to start. That could help. And then you want to zoom in. Oops. Yeah, zoom into around where we are. So you can see we are starting to break out of a range. So that's something to keep note if you're looking for a play. You might want to look for upside because we're breaking out of this area we've been in for a while. Low key, we've coming back to like what is that, August prices. So overall bullish. Not to say you can't play downside, but generally you want to know the market is starting to break out on the upside. ES is actually doing something completely different. It's kind of still in a nasty zone. So I have hella lines on my charts. Helps me, but some people just like less lines, but that's cool. Whatever you like. Then I come down to 4 hour. So futures, I usually don't chart too much. I just want to know generally some areas to watch out for. So, I mean, right now it's 2 o'clock, so I'm not actually charting, but before the day I was watching to see this 13,100 area, 1350. Look for some resistance there, some bouncing there. If we do continue to break out, upside will look good, but just this is a general area that we could start bouncing down and then look for around this area of support. Just, every 150, 200 points, you'll find some support or resistance. Mason is a king at saying that every morning. ES, yeah, in the morning I was watching around this area, this high. So 4080 to 4100, there's your resistance area, and then bouncing anywhere 4050, 4020. Seems we didn't really move too much, but that's cool. So yeah, after I look at futures, so basically look for bounce areas, which I told you, choppy ranges. So what's this, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday of last week, we were on this choppy range. So if you're in there, you have to know to be careful trading your stock because we could get fake outs, a lot of fake outs during this area, just because the market hasn't chosen a real direction. We have a lot of price acceptance here. And then yeah, breakouts. And after that is when I'll start going through my watch list. Let's just say Google, it's something I was watching this morning, but ended up breaking pre-market. Oh no. Oh, Microsoft. There you go. So yeah, I was watching Microsoft, this area over here. So I already knew from over the weekend the areas I want to play Microsoft were here. This 281 level, and then this gap fill 283. But if you didn't know that, you come to the 1 day, you see here's a gap, and then we bounced there this day, and then we came back, and then we were chopping around here. So over the weekend I was watching this breakout into this gap, and they both happen pre-market, which sucks, but it happens sometimes. So yeah, pre-market, this whole thing happened. So since I knew that this happened, I wasn't looking to play this level. Obviously, it already broke, but I was going to be interested in maybe 285 because it's a whole number and there's the rest of the gap there. But never happened, so that's cool. Plus today my computer was bugging, that's why I don't have a trade. But so yeah, let's say you go through your stock. I just have a watch list here. These are all the stocks I mainly trade. I have this watch list linked to this one, so I'll just literally click through, see anything I like. Something I was watching was this Apple 161.50 and 162, but the breaks on it weren't too clean. Let's go to the 5-minute. So pretty much when you're charting, you want to start on the bigger time frames. You'll see more, bigger key levels in the bigger time frames, and then the more you go down is when you can find like more of a sniper entry. So yeah, Apple, it wasn't too clean. I heard a lot of people got faked out on it today. So yeah, that's Apple. You saw how I found that area on the 4-hour. These highs. So you could have taken this high into here. Could have waited for this one. There's a technically safer entry, but depending on how we get there, this could be a riskier entry. This could be a profit target if you get in here. You could have even drawn a small little trend line. Nah, never mind. So if you are drawing trend lines, you want to see something that respects. You can say this one respects, but no candle close above. Once we close above, we went off to the races. But yeah, this would have been an all day long trade if you were to trade something like that. So yeah, just keep going through the watch list. This is something I am looking for in the future, if we ever get it, is this 93 level on AMD, depending on how we get there. If we break pre-market, I'm not going to trade it most likely. If let's say we open here 93.50 and just in like 3 candles just go straight down, probably not going to take it because you don't want, you want it to set up and you want the play to come to you cleanly. You don't want to chase something that's too extended. Amazon. So I have hella lines here. This is something I personally need to clean up because you can't read any of this. So it's good to have, some amount of lines that what these levels represent, but if it's like way too much, cleaning it is going to be good on your brain. BA. So this is something I wouldn't want to touch. See how choppy we are in this range. So anywhere from 219 to like 194, I pretty much don't want to touch it in here. I did trade it the other day, which kind of goes against what I just said, but yeah. So knowing that now, I guess I should have just looked for a quick scalp, just because we are in this disgusting choppy range. We bounce literally wherever and then up down everywhere. So if you are in a choppy range and you are going to take a trade, usually look for a quick scalp because you're not going to get all the follow through you do want. But if we start coming out of here, let's say we were at 219 to 220 to 221, you can take this trade with this 219 to 221 profit target, just because you are generally starting to break out of here. And then after that, if you want to look for more targets, you'll come to a bigger time frame. Wow, even bigger time frame than that. Let's go to the 2-year. So after this 221, you get more resistances up here. Oh, whoops. So 223 there. Those are the general pivot highs. I wouldn't necessarily use this as a price target, but just because they haven't shown to have respected too much. But if you see something that's bounced 2, 3, 4 times in the same area, that's something you would like to see. So I know, to go back to Apple, yeah, there's 157.50. We bounced here a lot. 1, 2. I think we had another bounce somewhere, but whatever, that's beside the point. So generally, the more touches of a trend line or a price line, the better. If it's just one touch, it's okay. It's good to know that there was resistance there, but the more the better. Baba, I hate this stock. Coin, I just recently added this because people love trading it. Alright, so let's say a gap fill. Gap fills are something you look for on the daily time frame. So they had some type of news, so they went down a lot, and then they opened down here, but then they ended up filling to here. So the gap is just basically where the gap in the candles are. You don't want a gap from, like, let's say there's a gap here that already filled. You want the fresh gaps that haven't filled. So like since March whatever 7th or March 20th, this area hasn't been touched. So you can use the 70 area as an entry. You're not gonna get this entire gap in one play, but generally you can keep scalping your way up and then using intraday trend lines or something like that as a price target or profit target, or just momentum slowdown in level 2 and things like that, volume, things like that. So alright, pretty much you chart NQ and ES first. You see, let's say I'm on the 1 hour. Alright, NQ, it's breaking up, starting to come down. If you see a super weak stock and this is how NQ is opening up, you can, like, let's say, I don't know, let's say Google's doing this, and then you really like this level and this is where we're opening at, you can use this as an entry. Not saying that this is good, just as an example. You can use like this area as an entry just because NQ is weak. Like, let's say NQ goes like that and then we open up around here tomorrow, you're going to want to look for some upside plays. So if something is let's say this comes like that and then we open up around here, now we have this clear area of resistance. If we open up here, you see volume, momentum, all that coming in. NQ is strong and starting to break out. You can use this area with NQ correlating as a possible play. But this is if, alright, so yeah, 285. Like, let's say you want to play 285. You could use this as an entry for it. You see it bounces. We open around here. NQ is strong. When we open is always where the most volume is, so that's where you would get the best follow through. So you can take this 184.75 into 285 with the profit target at 285.50. You could scale out here, scale out the rest here, some runners. But those are just some ideas of something that you can do. And that this is the rest of the gap fill, so I don't really have anything charted after that. It's because I barely trade Microsoft. So find weak or strong stocks, pretty much compared to futures. You want to be trading generally with the move of futures. If you're trading, if NQ opens up like this and you're looking at a stock for the downside, you have to know that in advance, and you might have to just take a scalp instead of a longer run. So like, let's say you want to trade this breakdown into here with this profit target, you might not get all the way over here in one clean move, just because futures are pushing up, your stock is pushing down, but it's being held up by futures. This is like the overall market. It's like Microsoft is in the NASDAQ. So yeah, basically I'll just be flipping through this, go through all of them, see if there's anything I like, anything I don't like. So I don't know if you can see it, my face might be blocked. Alright, so after I make my watch list, I literally just write down the stock name, the prices I'm looking at. These might be entry prices, these might be profit targets. So like something like Nvidia today, I'll show you that. I was looking at 274. This is if we came closer to the open. I don't like trading it, 11, 12, 1 o'clock. Those late day moves where there's low volume. You see that low volume? It's usually choppy around this time. You can get a lot of fake outs. It could break, it could have broke 275 by like 10 cents, came down to 274, up to 275.25, and then just end the day around there. I don't like that. But you see in the morning when it breaks areas, its pre-market high was 273.20, went up to 274.60. So that's over $1 move. Those are something you tend to like off the open. Those plays have a lot more continuation, a lot more volume, a lot more eyes watching it pretty much. So I was watching 274, 275, and then 275.89. This probably would have been the biggest target I would have had. This being another big target, and then this being more of an entry. I wouldn't have looked to get in much before that, I don't think. But I'll show you why I like that area. So yeah, you see 274, you have a wick here and there's no candles closing above it. 275 looks even cleaner, and then this is just the high. So this isn't necessarily like that strong a level, but it can be a good profit target for this 275 entry, or even 274 if it's one clean move up. So another thing, let's see how long I'm going right now. Damn, hello. Alright. If there's any stocks with news, let's say Nvidia, I don't know, they just had, I guess earnings is different than news, but like let's just say they had good earnings, you can expect follow through on upside. Had bad earnings, downside, same thing. Let's say Elon Musk gets arrested. You could expect Tesla stock to go down. So you look for some key levels and then you just play off those key levels. So like I have a lot of lines here, but I understand generally what most of these are. Like let's say Elon Musk gets arrested overnight and then we open around here. You can play this level, this 186, 185, 186 level, and then just basically look for some areas where you can target. So you can target this 183 level. It's a little far, but I mean $2 on Tesla, that happens generally. You can target this trend line too. So if we opened here, 185, yeah, 182. So yeah, this 182, 183. If we open there, which I mean, it's highly unlikely. But just as an example, so news is a good thing to look for. And a couple side notes: any days that you don't see any A+ setups, try not to force anything. Those are usually the days where you lose the most money. If you force something, just looking for something, if you're scrolling through all your stocks, you don't see anything. First glance, you go through it twice, you don't really see much. 3 times, alright, you can maybe see something. Those are usually the days where the trades aren't that good. you're probably forcing it more than letting it come to you. And then also, last thing is finding options to trade. So let's say a stock like BA where you have horrible volume. If I wanted to play upside, so let's just see. So like let's say I wanted to play, just 209 to 210 pretty much. You want to see what's the closest thing out of the money. That's where you're going to get the best reward in. And you see that there's a lot of volume there and a lot of open interest. So this is the contract you're going to want to trade for that, the 210 calls. Plus, if you get in 209, sell at the 210 break, these go from out of the money to in the money, so you get a premium flip. So that's what you want to see. And that's pretty much it. You pick your options and then you just wait for the market to open. You want to see, so alright, if you're on 4 hour when you chart that, you come down to the 30-minute, you see, alright, there's no like good entry level before this high. You can come down to the 15-minute, same thing. Alright, come down to the 5-minute. Alright, same thing. So maybe you want to get in here, 209.25. But the lower the time frame, the more, sniper entry you can get. But the higher the time frame, the better the level. That's pretty much how I look at it. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. Catch y'all tomorrow if my computer doesn't crash, hopefully. Peace.